What is it, Copernicus?
Thanks for letting me borrow it.
Joe,
I got your
you're
car.
late.
Yeah.
Have you no concept of time? I should have seen that one coming.
Yeah.
Let's go.
All right. Hey Back to the Future fans, I'm Joe Walser and welcome back to the Man Cave where, as you know, we have no concept of time. In today's episode, we're building issue number 4. So issue number 4 has both the nuclear reactor and the Mr. Fusion in it. It's a very special double issue and a very special double episode. Doc, you want to tell them what's in the first part?
Yes. In this issue, you have a choice. You can build either a nuclear reactor or a fusion reactor. From what I understand, a few years from now, the hippies are gonna go crazy and everyone's gonna go green. I don't even know what that means. Until then, this is my work in progress. A nuclear reactor. A nuclear reactor that generates the 1.21 gigawatts of electricity required for time travel. The choice is yours. The future is what you make it.
Today's co-host is none other than Michael Scheffe, the DeLorean Construction Coordinator from Back to the Future.
It's true.
And a very talented designer.
Well, thank you, sir.
So this is the issue that you're going to be assembling today, which includes the Mr. Fusion and part of the nuclear reactor, including the turbine nozzle and the hubcap.
Fantastic. I should say that the credit for figuring out that we were going to have a DeLorean and what it was basically going to look like goes to a really talented team of people. The Bobs, they knew that they wanted a DeLorean with gull-wing doors. Larry Paul, the production designer, he knew what he liked. He and Todd Hallowell, the art director, kind of guided Ron Cobb to come up with some great concept sketches. Then they had Andy Probert working in the art department, and Andy modified Rob's sketches. Then they hired a really gifted guy, Mike Fink, and Mike ran back and forth between the art department and Kevin Pike's shop, Film Tricks, where they built the cars. Mike actually interviewed me to be an assistant, and then he had another job come up and asked if I would be interested in his job. And so I said yeah, and good things happened, but I just want to be clear that when I came on board, they had sketches, and Mike had started construction of the car and this amazing Easter egg hunt, finding all these incredible parts. He would make sketches or decide what might go where, and then he would okay that with the art department, and then Kevin's guys could go ahead and start putting the thing together. And when I came on board, they'd fabricated the back deck, and there was an aluminum tube to make the reactor, and they'd already chosen the Polera wheel cover, right, to be the top of the reactor. And what I don't really remember is whether the little turbine nozzle was there as part of that yet or not. I'm not really sure. It's probably part of Mike's genius.
Check it out.
Yeah.
A display model.
Yeah, there's nothing like visual aids, right? This is a really lovely part, and I don't really remember whose idea it was to put it on here. I'm going to give credit to Mike, though, on that. It's a little nozzle from a turbine engine. So you have hot gas, and the direction of the gas gets bent by these vanes, and it hits these little turbine blades, and good things happen. Maybe your helicopter goes and flies away. So these are not so easy to find. I really wanted to get another, but we couldn't find another. It's expensive stuff. It's a real aircraft part.
Yeah, I want to tell you a story about what we just did. When we were doing the restoration, we had a certain amount of time. If we had years and years to look, well, we've found some since. But at the time, we didn't have one. One of the people on the team had one on their car. And so we took that and we created an incredible cast. But we were never really totally satisfied with it. I'd love to show you what we did at the Petersen.
I'd like to see.
Okay, let's run that now.
Hey, Mr. Walser, how are you?
Dana, good to see you.
Good to see you, Joe. What do we got here?
Well, this is the part that I was telling you about. This is my friend, Jerry Holbrook.
Jerry, Dana, nice to meet you.
Who has located, they're very hard to find, but he found one, acquired one, and donated it to the time machine.
Jerry, thank you so much. This is great.
My pleasure.
So we're here to install it.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. There she is.
So, Joe, is this a difficult procedure or?
It shouldn't take too long.
Well, I'll leave you to it.
You ready, Jerry?
Let's do it.
So Jerry, tell me the story. How'd you find this?
So I've had my radar looking for these for years, you know, and as I've gotten leads, I've chased them down. I've gone down these rabbit holes, and it's just been dead end, dead end, dead end.
I remember those rabbit holes.
Lots of rabbit holes, but you got to look, and eventually it'll allow itself to be discovered, and that's what happened with this. I happened to find somebody who said, yeah, I might just happen to have one of those on my shelf in the back room, and sure enough, that's what happened. But there were a lot of dead ends, and my favorite adventure regarding this was I found a gentleman who had an entire General Electric turbine engine, the correct series engine that this came out of, for sale as scrap.
Wow.
And I sent him an email. I said, hey, I want a part out of your motor, out of your engine. I don't want the whole thing, but I'll offer you X number of dollars if you'll dive into it, dig that part out and send it to me.
Plus you save a lot on shipping.
A whole hell of a, that's a big engine to ship.
It is a big engine.
So I had to coach him on how, I had to learn myself how the engine went together and coach him, send him instructions on how to deconstruct the engine to get to the part.
That's amazing.
And it was the wrong part.
The wrong model.
It was the wrong model. There are variations of the engine that this came out of, and on that particular variation, this part was different. So I didn't have the heart to tell the guy no, so I paid him for his time, I proudly
well, you know what,
display that on my wall.
It might not be the right part, but it's got a good story.
It's an amazing story. You got to break a few eggs, and you know, cool stuff doesn't happen without hard work and sacrifice.
There are different kinds of fans, Jerry. There are fans that take from the franchise and from the community, and then there are fans that give back. And they're rare and few and far between. And you, my friend, gave back, and you inspired a new segment. So we're gonna have t-shirts made that say, I gave back, and you get the first one.
Wow, I'm just so happy to be involved in this and to have the opportunity and to be so passionate about something. I mean, this is just, that's an honor, and this is a privilege. And when you're passionate about something, you should, that's a sign that you're passionate, is you want to give back. Absolutely. You're eager to give back. If you're a real fan, this is what you want to be doing.
And with that, we're done. I just wanted to show you the casting that we replaced.
Wow. It's just beautiful. Wow. What a cool thing.
People hear casting and you know, automatically they think, you know, it's cheap. And I'm telling you, probably we spent as much as a real one on creating this casting.
Well, you can make more, I guess. It's a lovely thing. Now we could go decorate the rest of the car with more of these where they should have been, right?
Right? Yeah, they are cool.
Really
I was
cool.
thinking about making a clock.
Yeah, that would be wonderful.
Right?
Yeah, fantastic. The next question was, well, how do we get plutonium in and out of the chamber? And what are we going to use? What are we going to use to carry the plutonium in? And what does that really look like back there? Yeah, so here's some little scribbles. This is looking at the back deck here, and you can see, well, we'll put some kind of a little cover here that'll look a little like something you might find on an aircraft or spacecraft. The best thing to do was to find things in surplus shops, right? And the second best thing was you made it yourself. And so when I designed that little hatch cover, it had to be stuff we could turn out on the lathe and that the welders could put together. Just a little piece of turned aluminum, and then a little piece of aluminum bar stock, and then you heliarc it together, and you've got a thing. And then it has to lock into some kind of receiver. So again, this is a part that got turned on the lathe. And then I thought, oh, we could use those, it's called a bayonet mount. So you push it in against spring pressure and turn that a little, because we can't do any kind of big long pitch threads or quarter turn threads like on a baby food jar. We've got to make something in the shop which is doable. So that's why it has a bayonet mount like that. And then they wanted a way to carry the plutonium around, so they made a case full of these. The idea here was it was a plexi tube, and there was a tube within a tube that would hold a little plutonium element, like, oh, we're going to hold plutonium in this water, and the water will absorb all the radioactivity. A little shutter door on the bottom.
That's not how it works?
What, like a gram of plutonium could kill everyone on the planet, right?
Even if it's lead lined?
Yeah.
I'm just saying. It took the team and I a long time to kind of reverse engineer it, but there was a moment where we turned the plutonium canister and the pellet drops in, and you know, you add the little shoop, and I believed it.
Did you have your lead suit?
I had a paper suit, like the one in the movie.
That's good. Here's some photos of putting the thing together. Here's that little nozzle ring from the turbine engine. You can see the parts that they just turned in the lathe to make the hatch. And this is assembling the stuff there. And there it is all together.
So, are you ready to build the nuclear reactor?
Well, the first time they wouldn't let me anywhere near it because I wasn't a prop maker. So this time maybe I'll get my hands dirty.
Oh, the union. 1.21 1/8 scale gigawatts.
Right, exactly so. Okay, here we go. We have to start with the little hatch, which is described as the yellow part 4C. Then I will need a little turbine nozzle. Oh, look, it has a tiny little bayonet mount. Okay, so that's what it should look like. We always like when the thing looks like the picture, right? All right, so reactor. Lay the reactor disc on top of the assembled part. So there's the transparent cover, and here are the two screws that hold it down. And now I'm going to attach the turbine nozzle. Okay, now we can put the cap back in.
Nice.
And then, there you go.
What do you think?
Okay, so in theory, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
1/8.
How about that?
That's all of the nuclear reactor parts.
Well, that was easy. Just seems like it could have been last week. Whoever knew any of this would happen, or that I'd have this conversation with you 34
I didn't
years
know that
later.
30
whatever.
years ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm glad. I thank you for coming. I really appreciate you doing this.
Thanks for having me. Are you kidding? It's
No.
such an honor to be here.
Honor.
If you want to build your own time machine, click the Eaglemoss link in the description. And be sure to like this transmission and subscribe. Your future may depend on it.